My Fight Show right now welcomes in the Hoss. Mark Hussey coming off of a win last time out. I know that has to have the good vibes back. How you doing, sir?
Oh yeah, feeling great, my friend. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Let's talk about that. A win to get the vibes back in the right direction. And I think all of a sudden they explain the rules to you. You can use your wrestling.
You can wrestle? Yeah, I forget about that sometimes, man.
So you did talk about the fight, talk about the victory, talk about the
Yeah,
decision. Was it in cage? Was it something that Nick actually convinced you of? Like, where did the wrestling come from?
I mean, for sure, leading up to the fight, there was talks about having to wrestle. You know what I mean? He was a big 6'5". He looked all of 6'6" to me in the cage. You know what I mean? But really, even going into the fight, it's not like it was our game plan to wrestle. Like I said in our post-fight interview, you know what I mean? Like the plan's always to go punch a motherfucker and make it exciting. But man, once I stood in front of that big ass dude and started throwing punches, I was reaching for his head and he was hard to get to. So you might as well go back to the roots. And if you could wrestle him, go wrestle him down. You know what I mean?
You did the wrestling, you did it well.
Thank you.
How did it feel actually implementing it in the cage and putting the grappling to use? Because we know, again, you want to be Justin Gaethje out there.
Yeah, man, pretty much. That's kind of exactly who I told John I want to emulate a style after. And really, what felt the best about the fight, man, was I went out there last July when I fought a video. You know what I mean? And didn't have a gas tank. Weight cut got to me real bad. Didn't have 4 minutes in me, let alone 15 minutes. So it felt really good to be in kind of a grindy style match and still feel like I had gas in the tank if we had another round to go. You know what I mean? To look across the cage at round three and see him dead, defeated, tired, you know what I mean, pretty much broken is what it looked like, was far more rewarding than even, I mean, it was nice to use my wrestling and realize I still have that and can use it. But really having the gas tank to use it and grind something out like that was huge for me.
So, what was the, I guess, achievement in that fight that you were most proud of? It almost sounds like it was the cardio, it was the
Yeah,
endurance.
man, for sure. And really, even like what I was most proud of was before the fight. Like I lived, and for this one too, like I've lived the life for the last 8 weeks. Leading up to a video, we were kind of in the air if we were going to fight, but I knew the fight was coming up and I could get a matchup. And 4 weeks out, I was still over 200 pounds. You know what I mean? That's not the life of the martial artist that we were supposed to be living. So it just felt good to do the right things, make all the right workouts, stay on a diet for 8 weeks, just really live the life of a professional athlete like I call myself. You know what I mean? And now that's the life we're living, and that's what I've done for the last 5 weeks also, and will continue to do for the next four until we go hurt somebody else.
What did you get up to? How much did you get up to
Shoot,
after the
man.
fight
Well,
this time around? Because we know that's always a question with you is the weight right
yeah.
now.
Yeah, this time I didn't even get over 200. I might have hit 203 2 weeks after, but that was it. Times before, like leading up to the video fight, I've reached up to like 220, man, and tried to cut down, and it's kind of ridiculous. You know, what I mean, I fight at 170 pounds, and I'm really not even a big 170 pounder. I should probably be down one more weight when we get to higher levels and stuff. So I need to stick around that like 195, 200 mark.
The fight plays out in that fashion where you're able to take it to him, you put the grind on him. It's something that you knew you could always do, or does this
Oh
prove
yeah.
it a little bit more to you?
It definitely proved a little more. You know, I've known since the beginning that I have that dog in me, and I'm ready to go to war if it need be. You know what I mean? Obviously, we don't get paid by the hour, so if you could do it quickly, it's better to do it that way. But it did feel good to know that I have that grind in me, and I can work my ass off for 15 or hopefully at some point 25 minutes. You know what I mean? So it definitely was nice to have that in my back pocket and realize that it can happen.
From wanting to perform and look like Justin Gaethje, that performance to me was more emblematic of Anthony Hernandez. Is that
Yep.
a version of you that you could live with?
Yeah, for sure, man. You might going out there and breaking people is just as satisfying as knocking them out. To be honest with you, the crowd might like knockouts a little more, but looking across the way and seeing someone know that they were defeated was pretty good too. You know what I mean? Both of us walked away from that fight knowing who won that fight after the last bell rang.
So from a fight philosophy standpoint, how much of a turning point or a learning process was this last fight for you?
Oh, massive, massive, man. Like I know now it's definitely smart to go out there and mix the styles for sure. You know what I mean? Especially when people are like fancy themselves strikers. If you go out there and wrestle them up a little bit, they start drowning a little bit. You know what I mean? If you could take them into deep waters and continue to drown them, I'll take all the air from them in any fight that comes up.
Everybody made a lot to do on that night about the entrance that was made by your teammate a little bit later
Yeah,
in the night with Jalen and John, and they were in a groove and they were catching it. We know you see that in the gym, but I'm not sure if you were
yeah, man.
watching or listening to the Cage Minds Fight Hour when I had Jalen on, because I credited you. I was like, I think John was
Uh-huh.
already in a groove from the moment Mark started like dancing out way in front of
Yeah, man.
everybody that night.
Shit, man, we have fun over here at Nobody'sville, man. You know what I mean? We love what we do, and we're having fun out here. So I think we have the best walkouts in MMA. You know what I mean? We're out there living our dream, and you can tell it. You know what I mean? The smile on our faces isn't fake. We really love to be there, and this is the best thing that we do in our life. You know what I mean? So you might as well go enjoy it.
How much is the energy from the coach, from John, infectious within the group?
Oh, huge, man, huge. Like we were just talking about how we're all kind of a goofy team, man. You know what I mean? For a bunch of fighters, we're about as unserious as it gets, and that probably stems from the man up at the top. You know what I mean? The dude's a wildcat, full personality, and really the whole team is like that. You know what I mean? So it's a really cool thing we're building over here.
And why is having that kind of mentor and that kind of fun versus serious kind of mentality the right balance for you?
Yeah, true, man. Well, at the end of the day, like we're in a very serious thing, so you don't have to make it more than it is. You know what I mean? If you can make it a little lighthearted and have some fun with your teammates that you're beating the hell out of all the time, and enjoy what you're doing. You know what I mean? That we're in too hard of a sport, too hard of a craft to not enjoy it. So if you don't enjoy it, you're in the wrong place.
The first time I met Mark, I believe he had just got done getting punched in the face. Well, probably actually was the day before when he was having to get on the scale. But then when I actually got to talk to him was after he was done getting punched in the face in the smallest ring that I've still ever seen. Yeah, even smaller than the Trigon.
Yeah, them nowhere to run days were crazy, man.
What was it? Was it just the thrill of getting a strike? It seemed like that you almost fell in love with it in that moment, getting to go out there and do it for real. And we would say under the bright lights, but there was like 200 of us and it was freezing cold outside. And it was kind of
Yeah,
dim.
man. Yep. Yeah, man. You know, this is it's the best drug on the planet. And if you're the type of person that you let this bug bite you, I don't think you can let it off you. You know what I mean? Grew up a wrestler all my life, so combat was part of who I am. It is part of who I am, and probably will always be. You know what I mean? So, really going out there and hearing the crowd reacts in wrestling, but the crowd reacts a hell of a lot more when you go punch people. You know what I mean? So that and that's it's a very addicting feeling.
And was it all those hundreds of wrestling matches that you had growing up that made this thrill of standing and banging that much more exciting because you've done the wrestling thing for so long?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. It's definitely a big part of it. You know what I mean? I wrestled all my life, so I'm willing to go out there and scrap. And then at the end of the day, I still, like we showed the last time, I still know the wrestling is in my back pocket. And then when we get to the higher levels, I know I can defend some takedowns when it gets down to it. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I still understand we're in the entertainment business. You know what I mean? So you got to give the people what they want, and they don't necessarily want to watch wrestling.
Besides, use your wrestling. What do you think some of the best advice that head mentor of yours, Saint Nick Gonzalez, has given you?
Shoot, man, it's supposed to be hard, man. My days with Nick, like technique wise, I'm pretty much John's guy now, but Nick's still there because he's gritty as hell, and that's how I grew up. You know, what I mean? I grew up wrestling, and I'm used to that grit and you know what I mean, hard work. There's a lot of people, and especially now with like the science of working out getting so big that you don't. Some people don't think you have to work hard, and I disagree. We do a painful and very hard sport. So if your training isn't hard and doesn't hurt and make you want to quit, you're not doing the right kind of training in my eyes. And that's what Nick is there for sure.
And what do you feel out of the many are some of the specific benefits for you of working with a head coach, as you've pointed out, like a world champion, John Dodson?
Yeah. Oh man, he's made worlds difference in my technique. You know what I mean? We've now been working for 3 or 4 years, and you could bear really, if I get striking, hopefully I can make it look like it in the cage at some point too. But in the gym, like my feet move differently. Uh, his insight, his fighting IQ, everything like that is just awesome, man. It's next level, and there's a reason he fought for a title twice. You know what I mean? Then at the end of the day, John might be a cool personality filled cat, but that is one violent son of a bitch also. You know what I mean? Yeah, that dude really gets to talking, and he likes to hurt people, and that's what we're all here for. So we all kind of vibe with that idea.
You've mentioned it in the interview. You've mentioned it when I've talked to you before. Mentioned it a couple times actually this interview. Living the lifestyle, not just acting like you're doing it, but really living the lifestyle. And we know the
Yeah,
first
man.
thing that we're going to point to is keeping that weight in check because that's been a big
Yes, sir.
detail. But there are many other elements besides just the
Oh yeah.
weight that also encompass living the lifestyle. What have some of those details been that you've had to really focus in on?
True, man. You know, like just making the little sacrifices. You know, what I mean, it gets hard to call it a sacrifice because what I'm chasing is so much bigger than what a lot of my friends are, or where a lot of my friends are. You know what I mean? So giving up the time hanging out with them and still making the workouts. The biggest one for me is my diet. You know what I mean? Staying solid on a diet is hard, and that's one of those sacrifices that you have to give up. You know what I mean?
A 3-1 opponent stands
Yes, sir.
across from you at APFC 22. We're talking about 3 first-round finishes. Does not come
Yeah.
out to play is Mr. Crows. Not really sure how we say the first name, so before I butcher it in 8
Yeah.
different ways, we're just gonna go with the last name that
I
looks
like
a
it.
lot more pronounceable. And guys, I'll figure it out here in the next couple of days. I should have done that earlier before the interview, but yeah, it's been a busy day. My bad on that one, but still, a monster in front of you. What do you think
Tough
of the
cat.
opposition?
You know, man, he's a tough dude for sure. He likes to stand and bang, likes to throw big punches. I think it's going to be a very fun fight. You know, what I mean, neither one of us looks scared of a war. He's coming up from 155, so he doesn't look like that big of a cat. This is one of the first times ever you'll see me be the taller guy in the ring. That's for sure. Yeah, Tapology and all them haven't met like 5'8", so it's the first time I'm going to look down on somebody that's a little different. Um, you know, I mean, really just can't get sucked into the bang with this cat. He looks like he likes to punch hard. Looks like he can throw hard, and it's gonna be a fun one for sure. It's gonna be a good one for the fans.
You've had highs and lows so far in this
Oh yeah.
professional run after a great amateur run. What is key now that you're feeling to get on a roll, to get that momentum, to have everything building in the direction that you want to?
Shoot, man, really just keep making decisions that I'm making right now. You know what I mean? I'm not into padding records, so I don't want to say picking the right fights, man. But I want to fight tough people and fight tough people all the way up, and that means that I have to train hard and have to do the right things on the outside, and that's what I plan to do. You know what I mean? I really don't. I don't vibe with these guys that are 10-1, but they fought in Alaska or they fought cab drivers and shit like that. You know what I mean? I want to fight dogs, and that's what I'm here to do. I believe I'm on that level. I believe I'm that kind of fighter, and that's what I want to go do in this career.
There were amateur fights at heavyweight. And then as soon as we started having Mark move down, I believe you saw some dudes at middleweight and welterweight now that have been
hmm
6'5" and 6'3". It just almost seems unfair after leaving
They,
heavyweight, right?
bro, they just keep throwing me these tall guys. These 170s just keep getting taller. That's why when I looked saw 5 foot on something finally, I was like, damn, all right. Okay, I've been punching up for the last 3 years, man. It's ridiculous.
Not to mention, as you're expanding in this game and you're maturing, there's a big role that you serve at the gym.
Oh
And
yeah.
what does that mean and been like for you to have some of that almost, older statesman mentality that you're serving as?
Yeah, you know, like I said, I think we're building something special over here at Nobody'sville, and then we're really just getting started. We have a good team of amateurs that have been around for a year, 2 years now. You know what I mean? And you know, I feel like I have to set an example for those people. You know what I mean? There's me, Henry, Jalen are the pros aside from John, obviously. You know what I mean? And those dudes, especially the youngsters that are coming in, even just the weekend warriors. You know what I mean? Hearing those people say that they look up to us, and are watching what we're doing, it makes you want to make the right decisions and take the right path. You know what I mean?
It's easy to remember. March 22nd,
Yes, sir.
APFC 22, Isleta Resort and Casino. If you're too far away to be there live, which I encourage you to be there live if you're able
For
to
sure.
be. MMA, one of the most exciting sports on the planet, to be able to sit there, watch, and see in person. But you can also watch on UFC Fight Pass. Not a bad
Yes, sir.
second option. You're gonna give us the easy answer, right? You're looking for a knockout. You're looking for a war. That's your
Oh yeah.
expectations.
I'm looking for a finish, man. You know what I mean? That's it felt good to grind one out, but like I said earlier, we don't get paid by the hour, and if I go make more money in less time, that's the plan all day long. I wouldn't be surprised if I do come out and wrestle a little bit. Dude's a striker, squares up, so you might as well go. I have seen him get tired, so you might as well go tire him out. You know what I mean? I'm gonna have the gas tank to go as long as we have to. So I'll be in his face the whole time, and I ain't going nowhere.
Jalen defends his title. I believe
Yes,
there's a
sir.
couple amateurs that we're going to be talking to here in the coming weeks from the squad that are also on the undercard. So, what is the vibe like with everyone at this point in camp getting ready here a couple weeks out?
Oh man, we're all grinding hard. You know what I mean? Everyone's in here putting in the work daily. Most of us 2, 3 times a day. You know what I mean? Especially that Jalen Fogler, man. He's a tough one to be a training partner with, especially when he has championship fights coming up. You know what I mean? He's the champion in our weight division for a reason, and you feel that when you stand in front of him for the last 5 weeks and the next 4. So it's definitely fun, and then it's nice. We have a few, like you said, a few of the younger guys. A couple of them getting in there for their second or third bout. Some of them getting in there for the first, I think, and for sure most of them are on the biggest card they've been on yet. Besides, Brandon's been there before. You know what I mean? But the other 2 haven't fought on nearly the stage that we're going to go fight on. So it's exciting to see those guys be excited for that and get ready for it.
Last thing before I let you go, what is the feeling like when you hear your music hits? Because we see that exuberance that comes out of you dancing down there. But how do you describe
Yes.
the feeling those minutes before the fight when you're making that walk?
Yeah, man. Well, really, dudes even at the highest level will tell you, no matter how long you've done this, when you're in the back, it's kind of your mind's playing tricks on you. You know what I mean? You have to tell yourself that you signed up to be here and this is what you love to do, and your mind don't want to do something that hard. So you have to talk to it. You know what I mean? And then really, that's kind of the moment that all shuts up for me. Once that music comes on, I'm very quickly reminded, like, damn, this is my life. This is what I love, and that's why the smile and the dancing comes out, man. Because I'm in my element, and I feel that.
I appreciate the time, bro. It was great
Oh,
getting to
man.
talk to you. Thanks for coming on my fight show.
I appreciate you, my brother. Always a pleasure.